Hey guys, this is Redface Menace from the future. Unfortunately, I have to interject right before this video starts because there were some audio issues, but they were not too significant, and I know that many of you prefer live gameplay, so I've tried to keep the live gameplay if at all possible. No replays this time, and yeah, that's all I have to say. I will see you guys in the video. Our opponent actually has all the time in the world to just sit and play lands and not cast anything, which is not something that a control deck could reasonably do against Kiki in the past. Now they just have an uncounterable clock that never makes them tap out, and that's just really difficult for Kiki to beat in general. Alright, draw 4 cards. If this does not impress you when it comes to Valakut Awakening, I don't know what will. If we just slam past Might now, we're playing it into Cryptic Command, which seems ridiculously stupid. Hello and welcome everybody. We are back here for round 3 with Blue-Red Kiki, the list that you see on screen. And if you're not familiar with the deck list, then check out match 1, as we are currently 2-0, and I did a previous deck tech in match 1 if you want to know more about the card choices, so I will not be going over that here. Let's just see how we can do in this third match. Hopefully we can end up 3-0, but of course, as I always say, the results are not what matters. We're here for the learning and the fun, so regardless, I will see you guys here in the matches. Alright, we have our match, so let's hop in here. On the play, love it. Playing against Dr. Dub. Very curious name. We have the combo, and we have a couple ops to find some interaction. I do think we keep this. Cascade Bluffs looking like the perfect little land of choice here to fix for our Kiki Jiki going late, so that's pretty nice. We can safely fetch a basic island here to opt if we want to / need to. And we'll see what our opponent is playing here. Ketria Triome Path. So this is probably going to be one of those Uro Control strategies, possibly. Very interesting to see. Against them, I think it's fine to go ahead and set up 18 vents. I don't see much downside to shocking here, so. And we will opt. Don't need another land. We'll draw into those, I'm sure of it. Knock on wood, you know what I'm saying? We did just bottom a card, but it was a land, and I don't really mind shuffling a land back in as much as I don't want to draw one necessarily from an opt. Like, drawing lands isn't really bad. I don't know, we could also save this Flooded Strand for potential Mystic Sanctuary shenanigans, but of course if we play Cascade Bluffs, that's going to delay our shenanigans by a turn anyways. I'm just going to play the Bluffs and pass, though. Of course, we also have managed to find the third copy of Opt. Classic opt into more opts. It's all good, it's all good. We're basically playing Storm over here. I don't often say that with decks that aren't playing Amulet of Vigor and Explore. You know, I like to joke that Amulet is a Storm deck sometimes, but here it applies. Just playing all the 1-mana cantrips, you see what I'm saying? And we're even blue and red. Look at that. I don't think we're fooling anybody with our Cascade Bluffs in play, though. So let's do the thing where we play and opt with a blue floating. Snapcaster Mage I like. And we'll opt again. Shark Typhoon. Think I like that too, actually. Sure, why not? I mean, we're going to have things to do with our mana, but... and the 4th opt. Okay, well, the quadfecta is complete here. And we're actually going to snap opt here, most likely, as well, so... Unless we have to Archmage's Charm to counter. Which is not impossible. I don't know how awkward it would make our opponent's mana if we Pestermited to tap their Field of Ruin, because they might feel inclined to go ahead and blow it up. But I'm just going to snap opt here, I think. And they can field our Cascade Bluffs, so I think I'm fetch shocking another Steam Vents. Might be throwing away our life total more than necessary, but... And interesting that they're going to go ahead and fire off this field now. Alright, let's get the island off of the field. They also chose to hit the other land. I think Cascade Bluffs would have been a better target than the Steam Vents, but that's okay. We can get a tap Steam Vents now. Seems fine. We could also Pestermite plus opt this turn. I don't know if I want to put my Pestermite into play when there's a possibility for Path to Exile as well, so let's just snap opt here, I think. Especially since we know we're playing around counter magic at this particular part of the game. Polluted Delta. Another land is actually kind of fine here. We could bottom it, hoping to hit a land in the next 2 draws, but I think that's a little too greedy. Let's just keep the land and continue to make land drops here. Another Cascade Bluffs, huh? I mean, I do like this card, but let's see. Probably playing out the Delta and attacking and passing. Yep. If our opponent has a Wrenn 6, they can minus to shoot our Snapcaster Mage, and then we can cycle Shark Typhoon to make it 2/2 at their instep. There's the Wrenn 6. Let me make sure that I'm thinking about this right. So they -1 to kill our Snapcaster Mage, and we have 2 damage on board to kill the Wrenn, unless they path our Shark token, but I think we're pretty okay with that. We could also just, like, Pestermite, tap their land. Now, we don't want to do this in response to the Wrenn, at the very least. I don't think we need to counter this with Archmage's Charm, but we can also just go for the end of turn Pestermite, untap Kiki thing. That's cool. Tapped field. Well, basically, they have to have Path to Exile right now, and I am going to make them have it. Always yield. Yep. Alright, it looks like we are a go for the Kiki thing. Let's get our Steam Vents and untap and just combo them. Seems good, seems good. See if our opponent just scoops to it. No gut shot, do you, opponent? Don't have that card. Alright, so that was a really easy game 1. I think we got lucky that our opponent was a little bit stuck on lands there. They had to activate a Field of Ruin and had to play a tap Field of the Dead. Interesting. Alright, so against a control opponent, we probably want some Jaces that we can fight to get something permanent in play that's going to help us out. Aether Gust is going to be good against Wrenns and Uros and Veil of Summers. I don't love it. I think it's possibly good to have 2 copies. And we can have a Relic of Progenitus against their Uros for sure, which seems pretty good. In this matchup, we're going to want to trim on Lightning Bolt, although it is important to have a few Lightning Bolts to point at their Planeswalkers if the need arises. Also, Blitz of the Thunder Raptor will be good for that. What else? We can trim 1 Kiki, as generally they're pretty hard to actually resolve. Now, the Rumans seem good. Actually, to be honest, against them, I don't know if we need Relic of Progenitus. It also stops their Mystic Sanctuary shenanigans, so it's probably fine. I'm tempted to trim 1 Cryptic. Our opponent could have Mystical Disputes, and they definitely will have Veils, so it probably makes sense to have 1 less Cryptic at least. What else? Valakut Awakening seems good. Maybe not 3, though. I feel like just having a few to filter through our draws in the late game seems good. We might end up drawing some additional lands that we want to Valakut Awakening away, but then again, making land drops is good in this matchup. We could trim a Pestermite, but I think having a flash threat to pressure our opponent will be good. Archmage's Charm seems good. Maybe we only want 2 relics, just because our opponent is not that graveyard-centric. I don't know, though. I kind of don't believe that, even though I just said it. So maybe we just go without Kiki entirely. I kind of feel like we don't need to combo them. I do think it'll be hard to win by Pestermite and Shark Token beats, but I think it might be better to do this. Just play a little bit more of a controlling game here. Jace as a finisher as well. Gotta cut 1 more card. Just trim another Pestermite. They don't really do anything when we don't have... Actually, let's cut the Pestermites entirely. That, I don't know, that seems a little much, though. Because we're kind of light on threats if we do that. I don't know. I'm going to give this a shot. It could be wrong. Just play no Pestermites, no Kikis, all control. 3 Aether Gusts makes me worried that we'll have extra Aether Gusts that we don't want to draw. But, you know what, let's just have a 3rd Lightning Bolt instead. Alright, submit. We're not losing to our opponent's Uro shenanigans. Although, to be honest, going full control like this might not be good in the face of our opponent's Field of the Deads. So, if we lose this game because we have no combo to rely on, then maybe we side back into it. But we'll see. Our opponent could have things like Lightning Bolts as well as Path to Exile. So, I don't know. There's a lot of things that can interact with our combo. And tapping 5 mana during our own turn for a Kiki just doesn't feel like it's ever going to be winning the game. Even though I feel like we can't beat Field of the Dead without the combo. So we'll have to see how it goes. I guess we just have to keep in mind that we need to tend towards being a little more aggressive so that we can try to outpace our opponent's land ramp. This hand is a instant mulligan. This hand is not that great, but I do think we should keep it, perhaps. I mean, if our opponent just slams a turn 2 Written 6, we're probably toast. We can cycle Shark Typhoon for 0 if we have to. And we're on the draw. Alright, I'm going to keep it. I don't love it. And we can put back one of these lands, I think. Probably just a basic island. Cool. Well, we'll see. If we draw things like Aether Gust or Remand off the top, then we might be fine. And if we draw things like Cryptic Command or Jace the Mind Sculptor off the top, then we might be in bad shape. We'll just have to be at the mercy of our top decks. Even lands are not great for us. One land lets us Shark for 2, which is exceedingly more relevant than making a 1/1. So one land might be fine, but that's a long-term goal, not a short-term one. Turn 1 Relic is actually alright. I'm cool with this. Our opponent knows they can jam a Written 6 into the obvious lack of Spell Snare, but I mean, whatever. Oh wait, let's cancel our yield here so we can snipe our opponent's fetch land out of their graveyard. Gone. No land for Written 6 over here. If our opponent has second fetch land plus Written 6, then that'll be pretty devastating, but okay, they have a fetch land, but no Written. Okay, okay. Or at least no Written outwardly that they're showing. Let's just chuck a Steam Vents. Give our opponent that bold face that says that we have something to be doing with our mana. We could just flash out a 2/1 Snapcaster Mage for no value. I'm not really beyond that. A strictly worse Pest Knight, if you will, but oh, probably should have already Reliced, but that's cool. They're probably getting another Triome. Hallowed Fountain. Okay, that makes sense. They're trying to get white online for their white spells. Let's go ahead and get rid of this land out of their graveyard. I guess they're growth spiraling. Okay. They do want to keep a fetch land in their graveyard for Written, so the fact that we didn't already activate this relic might actually come to bite us, which is kind of unfortunate. Still not obvious whether our opponent has Written 6 available to them or not. So far, nothing. Alright, let's just untap. Stevens is fine. We'll play the Delta, though. Oh, we need to use this relic now, again. Alright. Opponent already has Field of the Dead in play, so things are looking interesting. We might be able to get them with a Flying Shark, though. Beat them before they can beat us with 2/2 zombies. Yeah, we might need to side back into the combo. As pathetic as it might seem to try to resolve a 5-mana Kiki Jiki into possible 1-mana interactive spells plus loads of counter magic, we might just have to do that. I guess we fetch. Get a tap Siemens. On tap. Another fetch land is interesting. Probably saving that one for Mystic Sanctuary, and we know that we want to cycle this Shark Typhoon probably sooner rather than later, so I'm just going to shock in another Steam Vents here. Is a 2/2 Shark going to be good enough, or do we need to go for a 3/3 Shark, since we do have the land? It would have been nice to draw any kind of spell that we could cast with Snapcaster Mage, especially like an Opt. It's quite unfortunate that we didn't. We could cast Cryptic to bounce draw the field, and that wouldn't be the worst, in all honesty, although that gives our opponent a window to use their own Cryptic, and we don't have anything to, like, take advantage of that. I don't hate it, though. Or we could also bounce the Triome so that they can't just, like, cast a Growth Spiral or something like that. Although, if they have Veil of Summer and they still get to hold up the rest of their mana and it trades with our Cryptic Command, not even trades, just, like, counters our Cryptic Command and draws a card, that's, like, awful. I guess we just untap here. Land, go. I do think we need a 3/3 with the Shark. It may not matter at all if our opponent's just going to Cryptic bounce our Shark, though, so... You know. Now we have Archmage's Charm to draw to if we decide to go that route. Although I think it's going to be much more important to just go ahead and get Shark in play. It doesn't play around Lightning Bolt, though, which really sucks. I don't know that we can afford to do anything different, though. I think we just have to cycle here and hope our opponent doesn't have a removal spell for it. A path might be semi-acceptable, but not really, because we need to outclock Feel the Dead that's in play, so we'll see. We will see. They do have the bolt. Sad. Well, we have a bolt to go with our Snapcaster Mage, so we can start to make a little bit of a clock. Might end up bolting a zombie here. Or even stealing a zombie with Archmage's Charm. That's interesting. Yeah, it was unfortunate that our opponent had the bolt there. And now they get 2 zombies with this field thing, so it's pretty annoying. And a Rin. Alright, Rin is fine, I guess. If they fetch here, we can bolt the Rin on the stack. No need to give them another fetch land in their hand to start triggering Feel the Dead twice yet again. Yikes. Alright, Rin down. We can snap bolt a zombie. Or just steal a zombie with Archmage's Charm, then untap snap bolt the remaining zombie and swing for 2. Seems kind of weak, though. We could also Cryptic Bounce draw a zombie, since our opponent doesn't have green up for Veil. That seems enticing, although our opponent does have Cryptic up. I guess we'd rather they Cryptic our Cryptic than one of our Snapcaster Mages, though. Interesting. Let's go ahead and exile a card, as is the tradition around here. And I feel like this is the best turn to try to convert one of our Cryptics, although our Cryptics can tap our opponent's zombies if we need them to, so we can snap bolt here as well. I don't know if that bolt needs to go to a zombie or to their face, though. Probably it needs to go to their face, but it's pretty unclear. We could also Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards. It's rough out here. I'm gonna go for the Cryptic, I think. Return, draw, zombie. See if our opponent does anything about this. They don't. Another Cryptic is actually not too bad. So immediately exile a card from their yard. Play a land, pass it back. So it was very good for us that our opponent missequenced their fetch land plus a Ren and 6 thing. Otherwise, we'd be facing down a Ren and 6 also. They can go ahead and attack. That's actually fantastic for us. We can steal and then snap bolt them and attack for 4 and put them to 6. Assuming they don't have any counter spells to interact. We could also take the more conservative snap bolt this zombie, hold up Archmage's Charm. They have Uro, that's fine. Gains them 3 life, which is actually pretty annoying, but we'll deal. I think we're committing a snap for sure. I think it's probably bolting the zombie. I really hate this, but I think that's the only real option here. We'll bolt this zombie right here. And now we can also charm to steal this zombie, and if they do something about it, I don't know what. We could also just pop Relic and draw a card, which I don't hate. Alright, let's draw 2 cards with the charm, I think. I don't know what we can draw that helps us get out of the situation. Actually, no. Let's just go for stealing the zombie. Be as aggressive as possible. Try to end the game. Maybe they don't have more lands to play. They probably just counter this anyways, no matter what the mode is, so... This doesn't feel like a winning line, though, if I'm being completely honest. Probably do need the combo against this Field of the Dead nonsense. Also, our Pester Mites fly over these zombies, which is extremely relevant. That's something that I had overlooked before. Our opponent is waiting to pay costs over there. Veil of Summer. Yikes. Yep. We'll exile a card from their yard. We'll get in for 2 points of damage. I don't know that we can actually win this game, in all honesty, though. I've already considered scooping it up here. I feel like it would not be premature to just go ahead and concede, but... Ugh, another fetch land. I don't think bouncing the field here does anything. Nope. I'm just going to scoop it up. I don't think that we have a legitimate route to victory in this game because of Field of the Dead specifically, so we need to be cognizant of that and the matchup. That's a good thing to have learned. Pester Mite seems good. Kiki seems required. I don't know if we want 3 or not, though. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. The Awakening seems like it could be good to get rid of a Kiki that we don't need or help us find a Kiki that we do need. I'm not actually a huge fan of Gust here. I feel like it doesn't hit enough relevant things, but I could be wrong on that. Jace seems like it's trying to fight the wrong kind of battle, sadly. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Gust. Bolt obviously isn't doing anything. It did help us against that Rin, but we don't need that many bolts for that effect. We can trim, perhaps a charm. Probably a Cryptic. Maybe more. Cryptic was pretty irrelevant during those games. Or during that game, I guess I should say. We can, I guess, go without one of the Valcuts. Maybe we don't want Bolt at all. I could see that. I mean, we're really soft to Rin and 6, but I guess if we have all of the Aethagust, then we're not that soft to Rin. They only play like 2 Rins, though, anyways. I don't know. Aethagust is probably good enough to have, though. We can trim. Y'all let me know in the comments what you would trim here. I actually don't even know. Maybe 1 land. And... I'm going to go without one of the opts. I think usually people will cut things like opt because they don't know what else to cut, and it's generally wrong. But here I am doing it myself. It's only 1 opt, so see, that obviously doesn't count, you see? It's just 1 copy, right? And this hand has the combo, it has a remand, and it has the Relic of Progenitus for turn 1. This is obviously a keep. We need to hit lands, and we probably just need to pressure our opponent into the combo as fast as possible, while being as conservative as possible if we can. But I mean, obviously we can't beat a Field of the Dead going long, so combo fast and often, I suppose, would be the prevalent advice for this type of situation. We'll relic them. These fetch lands are quite pesky when combined with Ren and 6, so I will remand pretty much anything cast on 2 mana here. If they were to just cast a main phase Growth Spiral, I would definitely still remand it, because we need to hit this land drop. Probably not popping Relic to find that land drop, though, as clearly we always draw it. No big deal. We will get rid of this fetch land. Out of here. Don't like it. We also, I guess there's no point in casting a Pester Mite here because they just tap to float green mana in response and still be able to Growth Spiral here, so Or they'll just get a tap Triome and it's no big deal anyways. And again, I don't think I want to Pestermite a land here, at least on their upkeep. I will on their instep, however. And I might be in the realm of popping this relic now as well. We have Remand to deal with Uro, so Pestermite, see what you got to say about it. Mana Leak. We will not pay. Untap. Hitting a land drop is fantastic. Cool with me. We'll play the Delta. We're not going to main Pestermite untap a land because that plays straight into Wrenn and 6. Wrenn and 6 plus Veil Summer, for example, if they were able to cast it, assuming they had any like green land here, then they would be able to kill our Pestermite and then therefore killing our combo potential. So that said, are we playing around another Mana Leak? I don't think that we are. I think if our opponent is playing Mana Leaks, they're probably playing at maximum like 2. So, I mean, we could be playing into Mystical Dispute, however. I mean, it's of the utmost importance that this Pestermite resolves. All right, let's just untap. Another Kiki, you say. Well, I mean, at least if the first one gets countered, we have a backup. So there's that. See if they commit an Uro here. Also, we could just big brain and not play our 5th land, so that our opponent thinks we're stuck on lands, so that they like gamble that we won't have land plus Kiki in our next turn. That would be intriguing to me. I am definitely popping this relic, though, I think. Alright, we have a land drop to make. That's nice. It's just untap. We have 2 land drops to make. That works for me. Yeah, I'm not going to try to big brain our opponent. It's too valuable to have Pestermite plus Remand up, I think, so. They're casting Teferi Time Raveler. I think I'm pretty interested in remanding that one. It works. Our opponent could be holding up a Mana Leak or a Remand, but I'm playing around nothing. We need this Pestermite in play. And we'll just get a... We can get a Mystic Sanctuary to get Remand. Nah, we don't have enough islands. JK, just kidding. Alright, let's get an island. And I think I am playing into another Mana Leak. If they Remand, this is totally fine. We can tap this Triome here. They have the Mana Leak! No! Alright, well... yeah. This is why we might consider adding copies of Deceiver Exarch to our deck. Alright, well, let's play this Flooded Strand so we can fetch up a Mystic Sanctuary, perhaps. Pass it back. We could have used that turn to just hardcast a Kiki, but don't know how good that would have been. Clocking our opponent with Kiki against Feel the Dead doesn't seem like it's going to be relevant, so... Yikes. That is all I can say. I think if our opponent didn't have that Mana Leak, we might have had a chance, but... let's go for the draw 2 cards mode of Archmage's Charm. It happens, but they're all lands. We may stop playing lands at some point. We definitely want this Charm back on top, by the way. We might want to stop playing lands at some point so we can get rid of them with Valakut Awakening, which we have 2 copies of. For the time being, though, let's just go after this Archmage's Charm, of course. And we'll untap and draw said Archmage's Charm. We'll play the Cascade Bluffs. Pass it back. Yep, we're gonna just lose this game to Feel the Dead if we don't find another Pestermite, so... I think it's probably correct to play into the Mana Leak, the second Mana Leak there, so... Uro, that is fine. We'll draw 2 cards again at their instep, as, like I had said previously, we just need to find Pestermite, pretty much. That's all we care about at this point. We'll get to the step where we're trying to resolve Pestermite later. We're going to protect this Valakut Awakening with Remand and Aether Gust. Although, we actually might need to wait until we have more cards to pitch to the Awakening. We can probably pitch one of the two Kikis and both lands. Maybe the Aether Gust too, I don't know. Aether Gust doesn't actually protect the Valakut Awakening from anything. So we could pitch Kiki, double land Aether Gust, and draw 5 cards. Seems like it could be pretty good to do that. Let's do that first things first, I suppose. Sure. Let's see if our opponent responds. Alright. So we get to draw 5 cards here. Relic to deal with our opponent's Uro is quite nice. Do we remand the Time Raveler here? We have Veil covered with another Archmage's Charm. We could snap back something. Probably not. We could also just go straight for the Archmage's Charm and force our opponent to use Veil. They could have Veil plus a 2-mana counterspell again, and that forces their Teferi to resolve, which is pretty annoying. Alright, let's remand it, because I think our opponent is least likely to do anything about the remand. And they don't. Okay, we can snap back Valakut Awakening to get rid of these extra lands, which I think we will need to do, so let our opponent discard here. We actually got a card out of our remand thanks to the fact that our opponent had they discard the Teferi. They must have another one. Alright, another remand is fantastic. Do we play a land? I think we don't. Let's see, 5 to cast a Kiki, plus 4 to defend it. That would allow us to have Cryptic Command or double remand up when we cast our Kiki. I don't know. We might need to play the land here, but whatever. I'm just going to play Relic, and this will help us make sure our opponent's Uro doesn't do anything. We'll exile a card from their yard. And pass it back. And this is why Valakut Awakening is so powerful. It's definitely given us a lot of utility this game already, and it's about to be snapped back with remand backup, assuming that we can do that. Do we remand the Teferi again? I feel like we do. We could also snap remand, but that seems like a waste. Alright, it works. Another remand is amazing. Do we snap Valakut here? I think that we do. It exposes the Awakening to counter magic, but I mean, if we top deck a Pestermite at that point, then it basically just kills our opponent, so assuming they don't have Bolt or something like that up. Get rid of all these lands. Alright, draw 4 cards. If this does not impress you when it comes to Valakut Awakening, I don't know what will. Alright, cool. We'll untap. Now, we're unlikely to find another Valakut Awakening, I would say, so probably doesn't make sense to continue holding lands anymore. Get a card out of here, of course. I think we do not shock, as we might need as many turns as possible against this Field of the Dead that's in play, so let's attack with the snap. Don't think we need to commit a Kiki just yet. We'll just pass it back. Opt digging for the 3rd Pestermite, yes, 3rd, because we've used 2 so far, so our opponent is getting zombies now. So we are actually under a clock, sadly. Teferi again. I mean, we knew that this was coming. We definitely can't let this resolve. Let's just go for the Archmage's Charm to counter, I suppose. This is going to become problematic if we let it happen too many times, so. Alright, let's opt. Pestermite. Finally. Okay, so if we just slam Pestermite now, we're playing it into Cryptic Command, which seems ridiculously stupid. This upcoming turn, we have 3 plus 6. So if we top deck a land, we can Pestermite, then with remand backup, and then play Kiki and potentially win. If our opponent has a mana leak for the 3rd time, then we'd be in really bad shape. I think we're definitely supposed to not cast Pestermite here. Don't find the land. think we can afford to wait. We could cast one Kiki right now. And if it doesn't resolve, we're pretty okay with that. That we would still be able to hold up 4 mana. 4 mana is not a whole lot, though. Like, we'd only have one counterspell up at any given moment. I suppose if our opponent tapped out for something like Hour of Promise, then we actually just wouldn't care, since we'd be able to untap and win. They play a Wrenn, we still don't care, and we can also go off all in one turn with Pestermite and Kiki. I think it might be correct to slam a Kiki here. That's what I'm going to try. If our opponent fights over it, we're just going to let it go. Straws out a counterspell, most likely. And it actually does play around. Let that go. They're going to shock here, potentially, to hold up a Cryptic. Alright, past the priority. We could also gust our own Kiki to put it on top. I don't know how relevant that is. We could also remand our own Kiki, but I think we need the remand available. So I think we're just going to let this go. Not attacking, clearly. Although I don't think it would make any difference if we did. I think actually we might be trading with a zombie to cut our opponent's clock and give us more turns to set up the perfect situation here. I mean, it stops us from having Snapcaster plus Kiki in play, but I don't think that's really a problem. Another field token. Zombie Apocalypse is here. And we're on a 2-turn clock suddenly, even though we traded with our Snapcaster Mage. We can always cycle Shark Typhoon to make it 2-2. That way we're on a 3-turn clock instead. Of course, unless our opponent has a land, in which case it might still be a 3-turn clock. They play an Uro. That's great, actually, for us, so we'll let that go. They put another land in play, that's fine. Just cast more things, for sure. Might be popping Relic here as well. I think it's pretty safe to pop Relic and then Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards to try to tempt our opponent to do something about it. That also doesn't play into Veil, which I very much like. Alright, let's do it. Then we can untap, play Pestermite. A Valakut Awakening is interesting. Let's see. We play Pestermite. We have 6 mana. We still need to top deck that land, so we have this remand available. That's our entire plan. Alright, let's draw 2 cards. They may or may not interact. Alright, we found the land. That's good. Alright, we'll play it. We'll discard a Gust. I think that's totally fine. Okay, we're about as ready as we'll ever be for this. We can Shark to make a 3/3 blocker here and still have up Pestermite plus Remand. Or Valakut Awakening plus Gust or Remand or something like that. I think that makes good sense. So let's do that. This might also incentivize our opponent to throw off a Lightning Bolt on our Shark, which would be great news, as we can't beat that one combo-wise. Another land is interesting. We'll block, of course. We can snap Charm to draw 2 again, or even to steal a zombie that cuts even more turns off of the opponent's clock. They could have Double Bolt to kill us. They don't play Snapcasters as far as I'm aware, so I don't think we need to worry about Snap Bolt. I think it's going to be correct to either Valakut Awakening here, which I think we have everything we need, so I don't know that Valakut Awakening makes sense here. I think Snap Charm to steal makes a lot of sense. I definitely could see our opponent responding to that. Yeah, let's do this. They have a Veil Summer, which is great that they used it now instead of in response to our remand. Now the question is, are we going off and not playing around Bolt? I feel like Bolt's going to kill us regardless of whether we're able to resolve our combo this turn or not, because they would be able to kill the Kiki, so we might as well assume they don't have Bolt and just double block zombies. They don't have a fetch land, so we don't need to worry about that. I guess they could Growth Spiral into a land to make lethal. If they do that, though, we can rely on this other Shark Typhoon that we have to make another blocker, or Pestermite to tap, or both. I guess they could, right now they could Growth Spiral into a fetch land, make 2 more zombies, and we'd still be able to make a blocker and potentially Pestermite tap one of the zombies. Although we really don't want to have to put Pestermite into play in the first place at all. Let's see, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That would be 5 to cast Kiki down to 6 mana left. So that would be Remand plus Cryptic Command, or double Remand Aether Gust, or something like that. Alright, I think we're playing the land. Tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could play Kiki with 4 remaining and have Remand plus Gust. But that doesn't beat Cryptic Command, like even a single Cryptic Command, because they can probably just recast it. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue mana, so they can't recast a Cryptic Command here. But it also exposes us to Path or Bolt. Alright, I might be wrong, but I'm going to try to be as patient as possible and wait one more turn on the combo here. We'll see if it comes back to bite us, but I don't think we really have an option. And we can play around Bolt with just a single Shark Typhoon, since they only have 3 zombies in play, so that's nice. Just making another 3. That would allow us to have 6 mana up for Pestermite plus Valcut, or Pestermite plus Remand with 1 mana up. That represents something. Let's see, a 4/4 gives us a flying clock of 7 damage per turn, which is not enough to kill our opponent. 8 a turn would be a 2-turn clock, so that might be good enough. Alright, let's cycle to make a... What is this? A 5/5, 4/4? A 4/4. I think a 4/4 is all that we can really muster here. Although it doesn't let us have our Pestermite play around Mana Leak if we're casting it on this end step. I don't think that's a problem. Now they're going to cast something here. Okay. Cryptic to tap, draw. Alright, I mean, we gotta remand that. They could have a Force of Negation here. Veil. Well, we can gut that. Now, they could still have Force. Mana Leak. Ah! Man, I did not expect our opponent to be playing 3 copies of Mana Leak. Well, we are just dead. Yeah, there's nothing else that we can do here. Dang. Reveal our hand, let them know that we had the combo lying in the weights. I guess maybe we should have gone for it last turn, although seeing our opponent's interaction here, I don't think that we would have been able to make the combo work. Okay, so got punked out by Mana Leak a couple times, taking our first loss here. I would have to wager that the Temur, Uro, Feel the Dead piles, Omnath, whether it's included or not, probably are not a good matchup for Blue-Red Kiki. And I think that Feel the Dead is the main card that flips the matchup, as our opponent actually has all the time in the world to just sit and play lands and not cast anything, which is not something that a control deck could reasonably do against Kiki going long in the past, because eventually we would be able to build up the perfect hand with, you know, just the right amount of counter magic, or be able to like bolt, snap, bolt, and, you know, tempo beat our opponent out of the game with like Pestermite and whatnot. And now they just have an uncounterable clock that never makes them tap out, and that's just really difficult for Kiki to beat in general, especially since it stops snap beats as well. So Shark Typhoon and Pestermite really help fix that problem a little bit, but I mean, and maybe things would have gone differently if we had played around Mana Leak on the Pestermites that we did play. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Let me know what you thought of the match in the comments below, and I will see you guys for the next one. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.